So a lot of YouTubers have been speaking about the Hermes agent, and if you've been in the AI space tracking, this is another new agent that has come out that is very unique, and a lot of hype has been coming out about it. So the real question is it much of a hype, or is it actually a useful agent? We had OpenClaw a few months earlier, and that seemed to take off as well. And now the latest version is the Hermes agent. So the goal today is to just talk a little bit about it, keep it simple for everybody, and really see if it's something that you would be interested in learning more about and using in your day-to-day life. So most tools today still feel like chatbots. You ask it a question, they answer, and the conversation ends. You go on ChatGPT, you may ask a question, you go on Gemini, you may ask a question, and it gives you an answer, and then you move on. But Hermes Agent is different. The easiest way to understand it is this. Hermes is not just a chatbot, it is closer to a digital teammate. It can remember context, build reusable skills, use tools, and improve over time. And that is the big shift. We are moving away from AI that just answers questions to AI that can actually help run workflows. So in this video, I'm going to explain Hermes Agent in the simplest way, what it is, why people are paying attention, and how it works and compares to OpenClaw. So what is Hermes Agent? Hermes Agent is an open source AI agent from Norse Research. The main idea is simple. It is built around a learning loop. That means it does not just respond once and forget everything. It can remember useful facts, understand your past work, reuse patterns, and turn repeated tasks into skills. Think of it like this. A normal chatbot is like hiring someone for one conversation. Hermes is more like hiring someone who slowly learns how you work. It remembers what matters. It can use tools, it can research, it can browse code, it can look at code, it can create code, it can operate workflows, and over time, it builds a better model of you and your projects. That is why the memory piece matters so much. The value is not just the answer it gives today, the value is that the next run makes it better than the last one. Before we compare Hermes to other tools, it is important to understand the difference between open source and closed source. So open source means the code that the application is built on is public. You can inspect it, you can modify it, you can self-host it, and there's usually a community of other fellow developers who are working together or collaborating to improve it quickly. Closed source means the code is private. It's usually owned by an entity, a vendor, and they control the entire system. A lot of closed source tools are simple to start, but they're usually less flexible if you want to customize how they work. Hermes matters because it sits in that open source agent area, and timing matters here because OpenClaw had just started gaining attention not that long ago, late 2025, and then Hermes launched early 2026, and it has gone to the top of GitHub right now and is one of the most popular tools out there. And again, the main reason why it has jumped over OpenClaw is this learning loop and the reusable skills and the way that it has this really good memory. So how do we use Hermes and how do we compare it with OpenClaw? The simplest way I'd look at this is OpenClaw is more of an assistant first. It was great when it came out because it was first of its kind, really. It gave you a control layer. It was useful across chat apps, devices, and actions. But one piece that it was missing was that memory piece. And the setup was not easy either. Setup was much more complicated. If you were not an IT developer or had any technology coding background, it was very difficult to set up. Hermes was an evolution of that. Hermes is more learning first. It's built around memory, repeated workflows, and getting better with use. So OpenClaw is strong if you want task execution across apps. Hermes stands out when you want an agent that grows with you, that remembers and turns repeated workflows into skills and starts becoming more useful and the more information you give it. That's the key difference for me. OpenClaw feels like an assistant, while Hermes feels more like an agent with a learning loop. So here's a simple version of how Hermes actually works. First, you trigger it. That could be a question, a task, a message, or something you want done. For example, search the latest AI news from me on X or on whatever site that you like to get your news resources from. Second, it plans. So instead of just answering and giving you the news right away, Hermes will actually break the work into steps. Third, the recalls. So it checks its memory for past chats to see if you've asked this question before. If you've not, it saves the context. That way it can reuse it the next time. So that's those reusable skills. And then fourth, it acts. And that could mean using tools, searching information, working with running files and commands, or connecting to external channels and browsing. And then finally, it learns. Useful patterns can be saved so the next time a similar task comes up, Hermes does not have to figure out everything out from scratch. So it remembered that, hey, you asked me for news, the latest AI news on X. I store that in my memory. And the next time, I don't have to start all over again. I know exactly where to go. And that's the loop. Ask, plan, use memory, act, and learn. That loop is the heart of Hermes. The best way I personally think about Hermes is an AI chief of staff. Imagine you started your day and asked, hey, what should I focus on today? A basic chatbot might give you your generative, productive advice, but a real chief of staff should know your projects, know your deadlines, your follow-ups, your open tasks, and what matters right now. That is where Hermes becomes interesting. It can help you organize priorities. It can remember who needs a reply. It can track what was not shipped. It can recommend next steps based on the context it has built. That is why I think Chief of Staff use case is one of the greatest ways to understand and how to use Hermes. So what are some practical use cases for Hermes that you could use today? First is research. If you're researching a topic, Hermes can help collect information, summarize findings, and remember what you already discovered. Second, developer workflows. If you're a developer and you repeat the same coding, debugging setup, or development steps, Hermes can turn those repeated patterns into reusable skills. Third, we talked about this, the chief of staff workflows. This is the one I think a lot of entrepreneurs and creators will understand. Tracking tasks, following up, priorities, reminders, and next steps. Fourth, customer follow-up. If you're a small business, or if you're dealing with leads, prospects, or supportive conversations, memory becomes powerful because the agent can remember what happened before and what happens next. And fifth, operations and automations. So reports, inbox triaging, coordination, status updates. These are the boring but valuable parts of a business. That is where Hermes can shine and become very useful. The real unlock is not just automation, it is automation with memory. So that is the Hermes agent at a high level. The big idea is simple. Hermes is an open source AI agent built around memory, skills, and a learning loop. It is not just trying to answer questions, it is trying to become more useful over time. And for me, the most interesting part is that this can now become a real AI chief of staff. Something that helps you track priorities, remember conversations, follow up, and coordinate work across your day. But this video was just a simple explanation. In the next video, I'm going to do more of a hands-on walkthrough. I'll show you how I'm personally using Hermes in a real workflow, what I connected, what works well, and where it still needs improvement. So if this video helped you understand that idea, the next one will show you the practical side. See you on the next video.